Looks like I've got some new stories to tell.
I need no introduction. Hand of Midas. Timely. Desolator. I'll pry you out of that tin can. You disgust me, Pudge. Oh, not morally or anything. You're just gross. I'm one bounty you're never cashing in. Showtime. My legend grows. The biggest banana slug I've ever seen! You think you're the scariest thing in the jungle?
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Esports Money, ZSM, Mac10, whatever you want to call me, and welcome to my guide to jungling Monkey King in patch 7.06F. Now, Monkey King is a pretty cool hero. He's one of the most popular heroes around, hence the intro. He's currently 12th in popularity of all Dota 2 heroes, and we're going to be jungling him on the Radiant side for this video. Starting items are pretty standard for most of the heroes that I like to jungle. We're going to go with an Iron Talon and a pack of Tangos. We're going to be getting a bottle, and then we're going to be working towards a Hand of Midas, then Phase Boots, a Blightstone that we will build into a Desolator, and the optional Windlace for movement speed. Now, as far as the Windlace is concerned, that is very optional. And once you have all of those items except for the Windlace, whatever you work towards is largely up to you, with that choice being either an Echo Saber or a Blightstone. So the Echo Saber is awesome because it slows your enemies. The Windlace or the Desolator is great because you do lots and lots of damage and minus armor. Ultimately, you're going to want to have both of them. And something that's really cool about jungling this hero is that he can kind of sort of cliff jungle, because even though he's melee, his range is significantly higher than a traditional melee hero. I think it's 200, his range is 300, so he's got essentially double the range of a traditional melee hero. You can kind of see how long his Monkey King bar seems to extend. Now, Monkey King bar is a very popular item on this hero, but it's not something that you're going to want to build every game because it is for heroes with evasion. On a more serious note, talking about skill build, so in the jungle, your passive is not particularly good because it only works against heroes, doesn't work against creeps, so it doesn't have a lot of utility. However, Boundless Strike does have a lot of utility, and Boundless Strike is a great ability anyway. So I'm going to get a level 1 point in Boundless Strike, and I'm going to max out Boundless Strike. And especially once you have the Blightstone, then it is even better because it will apply the Blightstone debuff to all of the units hit by the Boundless Strike, reducing their armor by 2, and then once you have a Desolator, it will reduce all of their armor by 7. So at level 2, I'm going to get a value point into Tree Dance, which will allow you to use Primal Spring. We're not going to use Primal Spring to farm creeps because the mana cost is higher than Boundless Strike, and they do similar-ish damage, especially if you have the Iron Talon, and especially if you get the Blightstone early. However, it does allow you a little more escape if someone tries to gank you while you're jungling, assuming they don't have something that can chop down a tree. However, Monkey King is a very atypical jungler, so it's kind of okay. Like, people are probably not going to expect you to be jungling. You're probably wondering at this point why I don't have a Stout Shield to either build into a Poor Man's Shield, or going for the Vanguard, which of course built into Abyssal Blade once you have the Skull Basher. Well, the reason being is because I'm banking on getting all of the bounty runes, and so I'm not as concerned about my health because I'm going to be using my bottle as much as possible to keep my mana up because I want to spam my Boundless Strike. That being said, once I have my third point in Boundless Strike, I'm going to start essentially completely prioritizing my my Jingu Mastery, my passive. Actually, it's a little bit up to you. It's a little more conservative to get 3 points into it, but if you want to be greedy and prepare yourself better for actually fighting against enemy heroes, then starting at level 5 you can put a 2nd point into Jingu and then max it by level 8. It's a great ability. But one thing that is really important to remember about it is that your enemies can't really tell what level it is unless they're just doing huge amounts of mathematical calculations while they're playing against you. So if you have a single value point in it, then it has the same effect, because Jingu Mastery is an ability where it's good to get a kill when you're jumping on someone with an Echo Saber, if you have high, especially if you have high attack speed. But it's something that the counter bullies enemy heroes away. So when enemies see that ability, that debuff show up above them, they know that they don't really want to be taking additional right clicks from you. Now notice I am basically suicide jungling here. You can actually get all of the items that I get in this video approximately 2.5 minutes earlier if you get no troll camps, no large troll camps. So if all of your large camps are non-troll camps, you jungle way faster because you take less damage, and therefore you can be a little bit more reckless. It's also a lot safer. So there is a bit of RNG associated with this jungling guide because it does depend on your spawns. That being said, I have a very large amount of trolls here, and I got one of the worst setups you could get, and I still turned out more or less okay. So now that I have my bottle, I'm going to be working toward my Hand of Midas. I think you guys understand the mechanics now. We're going to be choke point jungling and then cliff jungling and using our Q to do large long-range damage. I will use the Shrine here. If in a regular game, I'm going to queue up my mid first, of course, and possibly run back to my base and use the Shrine there instead if my mid doesn't want to use it or has already used it before I can get there or something weird like that happens. At level 6, I'll get Wukong's Command. It's a great ability. It's his ultimate. I'm going to get it at all levels. As far as talents are concerned, so there's a pretty obvious split with his talents. So at level 10, you have 12% evasion or 20 attack speed. There is a 3% higher win rate with the plus 20 attack speed than there is with evasion, and most people favor it. At level 15, you have plus 75 Jingu Mastery damage or plus 275 health. There is a 2.1% higher win rate overall with the damage compared to the health, and there is a significantly higher pick rate, a 74.7% pick rate with the Jingu Mastery damage. However, there are situations where you might want to pick the health. It's a very large amount of health for a low strength gain agility carry. So do consider the health, though it is not as popular and has a slightly low win rate. At level 20, you can choose between plus 20% magic damage or plus 40 damage. Now, you can see a very clear trend with the talents of this hero, defense and offense. So you could have 12% evasion, 275 health, 20% magic resist, and then 25 strength at level 25 if you go full defensive. Hugely favored on the offensive side at level 20. The 40 damage is picked 86.5% of the time with a 5% higher win rate. However, there are a few instances where you may want to consider the magic resist. One, if you're being super scrubby and you don't pick up BKB, then get the magic resistance if you're against a lot of magic damage. In general, if you're against a huge amount of constant magic damage that's going to outlast your BKB, go for the magic resistance. But almost always go for the damage unless you're against like a 5 magic damage lineup. At level 25, 85.6% of people pick the Boundless Strike crit plus 100% damage, and it has a 2.3% higher win rate. Again, you're not a strength hero, so plus 25 strength doesn't give you as much as it could. You're also going to be building a couple of items that will give you a little more tankability. If you're going for the Abyssal Blade, you'll have more survivability with the Abyssal. So, again, I am going to have to recommend going for the Boundless Strike system here. So the only times that I could consider going for defensive talents are potentially the 275 health and the plus 20% magic resist. The evasion doesn't seem to give much of a boon, and the plus 20 attack speed is rather large for the hero, especially because the attack speed is not that great. You're mostly relying on Echo Saber and gimmicky things like that to land additional stacks of your Jingu Mastery. Primal Spring, pretty cool ability, but I'm not really going to talk about it because I don't use it's not how I choose to spend my mana. I'd much prefer to use Boundless Strike. Occasionally, I will use the Primal Spring into Boundless Strike, mana permitting. So thank you guys so much for watching this guide. If you like this video, hit the like and subscribe buttons to see more content from me. And if you haven't checked out my lichen guide, it is very long, but it is one of the best guides I've ever produced. So please go check out that lichen guide. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.
Subscribe for more shitty content.